So I am Lisa Toland, and I was invited by Katie to come and present to you guys to kind of just enhance things that you're already discussing, give you some little nuggets to work with this year. So I have a brand called The One Woman, established back in 2021, and then last year I evolved it into The One Empire. Everything about it is based on that you are the one. Whatever is in your heart, in your mind, in your soul, telling you that this is what you're called to do, you're it. And that those callings and that those feelings and those responsibilities that are mixed with our gifts and our talents, that they truly are a responsibility of ours to fulfill them because no one else can do it like we can do it, right? And so I started off with The One Woman. And then we have The One Podcast, which is stories from all over the world of people that have already embraced being the one and are living that, or are in the process of bringing what their passion is to life. And so I sat with what would be a good thing to talk about to help you guys now. We're still at the beginning of the year. A lot of us made our New Year's resolutions, end of December, beginning of January. Many people statistically have already given up on those New Year's resolutions right now. And I was listening last night to a really great podcast by Diary of a CEO and Chris Williams, if you know either one of them. And they had recorded it in that time between the end of Christmas, beginning of New Year's. And they were talking about resolutions. And what I want to talk about today can be done in January. It can be done any time of the year. And these things will help you to not only shift where you're at right now, but it will help with your manifestation. It will help with receiving money. It will help with your relationships. It will help with building your business. All of these things are foundational for what I do. We should only be on for about an hour. If there's questions, I will make sure to answer those at the end so I don't forget. And then there will be a recording. So I'll make sure that I get that link to Katie's admin, and I'm not sure when she'll be sending it out, but there will be one. I'm not someone who does PowerPoints just because I really like, in fact, let's do that right now. Just take one deep breath and close your eyes. Just to bring you into the moment right now. And a lot of what I say, I believe energetically when I'm listening to someone or when I'm speaking to someone, what is meant for you will come through me. But if you're busy looking at a presentation or having to take a lot of notes, sometimes that message doesn't come through properly. So I'm just one of those people that believes in, I'm going to listen for what my soul tells to tell you. I've got an outline. I'm going to make sure I don't forget anything fun. I will also send that outline over. If you want a copy of it, I'll give you my email address. You're welcome to have it. I'll even send it to Katie if she wants it. But I want you to just let your soul feel into the words, because even if I'm talking about manifestation and there's something on your mind underlying right now about relationships, there's going to be a principle in between the words I'm saying that your soul needs to hear, and it will take that energetically and it will translate it into the thing that's going to guide you into peace and happiness right now. So I'm just big with listen for whatever's on your heart and in your mind, and hopefully these will translate into what you are looking for right now. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is a program I've put together called Divine Reemergence, and it's based on 3 simple principles. And so Divine Reemergence, when this name came to me, I kid you not, 9, 10 years ago, and I sat with it forever because I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to do with it. And just in the last year, I started noticing these are principles I live by. We're at the beginning of the year. It is to re-emerge as the strongest, most beautiful, most radiant part of who you already are. So you're not changing yourself. You're consistently remembering who you are. I like to say that you're unveiling who you are. And then you're improving your skills, you're improving your practices. You can expand your knowledge and all of that, but we're already whole inside. So the divine reemergence is I'm going to reemerge this year more bold, more beautiful, more radiant, more magnetic than ever before. So there's three parts to this. One is called release, reframe, and then receive. And all three of these will increase your business, they will increase your magnetism, they will increase your manifestation, they will increase every part of your life that you want more abundance in. And it will help you to feel more solid in who you are as you're growing, as you're expanding yourself more into your online presence, anywhere you go. So we'll start off with releasing. What I mean by releasing is, obviously, we need to release the past, but what I've noticed in my own life is not only do I have things from my past, like such as, if you think back to last year, the year before, is there anybody that has hurt you intentionally or unintentionally, and are you still carrying that forward? Do you have self-judgment from anything, like if you were in your business, measuring your goals for the year and not hitting those, maybe hitting those? Is there any disappointments that you have from last year or further back that has to do with, not being the kind of parent that you want to be, not being as present in your relationship, those type of things? Any self-judgment that you have needs to be released. When we carry those forward, I like to imagine it myself as taking a heavy stone, whatever it was, self-judgment, anger, resentment, pain, disappointment, somebody hurting me. That is a large stone. I'm putting in a backpack, and I'm choosing every day when I get up in the morning to put that backpack on, carry it with me throughout the day, carry it into tomorrow, into the next day, into every day of 2026. So if you can take the time to sit down, if there's anything that's drawing you away from peace, any sadness, especially sadness, disappointment, anger, resentment, guilt, some of the heaviest energies, if you have some time this upcoming week to sit down and write those down and look at them each as a stone that I'm choosing to carry in my backpack, is there a way I can release these? Is there a way I can let this go? Because I'm the only one, and I'm choosing to pick that up every day, put it in the backpack, and put this backpack on. And doing that, if we don't release, we're not going to be able to receive. So I would love for you to think about the things that I'm carrying with me every day. Some of the worst are our self-judgments. We don't know each other well. I'm brand new to your world, but I am someone who's willing to admit the amount of insecurities, self-judgment, expectations. I'm 53. It took me years to get my business online because I had so many insecurities about being seen. I hated being on video. I hated my voice. And then I had to release a podcast. Like, it was a very clear instruction. It took me 2.5 years to get the podcast out there. So most of the things I needed to release didn't have to do with what other people did to me. It was pretty easy for me to forgive because I know most of us are just trying to get our needs met. And I want you to think about that. If there is some pain with someone that's hurt you, most of the time, someone is not trying to hurt you. They're trying to get their needs met. So they're choosing what they felt was more important or most important to them at the time. And inadvertently, that means they chose what they wanted to do over what you wanted them to do. And then we get our feelings hurt because they put themselves first. And we wanted them to put us first, right? So I do sometimes think it's easier to forgive other people, release the other people and their mistakes than it is to release the things that we've been carrying forever. One of the things I would love for you to think about, and I love to do this at the beginning of every single year or any time, but especially at the beginning of January, is who was I last year that I don't want to be this year? So I have a thing about moving. I used to love to move. And when I would move, I would think, Well, nobody knows I'm shy. So when I move there, maybe I could be more extroverted. Maybe I could leave shy behind. And you don't have to move places to do that. We can do that any day of the week. Who have I been last year? Who have I been last week? What is the identity I decided for myself? And is there any part of that that I could let go? And so we want to think about releasing patterns. We want to think about releasing, especially self-judgment. Another thing I did last year that I found really helpful, that I do think sometimes allows people some freedom. As we get older, are the beliefs that you carry right now truly yours? So, for example, and this is not about religion, I'm not encouraging anyone to leave religion if you don't want to. I grew up in a very religious family, and there was nothing wrong with that, but there was a very specific day when I was 34 years old. I'm standing in the basement of my mom's house, curling my hair, and I remember looking in the mirror, asking myself, why do I belong to a religion that's telling me I'm not going to be with my youngest brother when we die? And, there was levels of heaven and all these things, and he didn't believe in that religion. So those standards meant that we wouldn't be together. And it was a turning point in my life. And it wasn't that there was anything wrong with the religion, but when I took a point back, since that's the way I had been raised, I took steps backwards and just started analyzing, do I personally believe all these things for myself as the woman I am today? And I think that's really important, especially as you're aging. As I went into my 40s, I was redefining who I was. When I turned 50, I made 50 the best year of my life. Society says, we're over the hill, we're going down. I decided, what if I choose 50 is going to be the best year of my entire life? What if I make it intentionally phenomenal? And I remember every month of this year, it transformed everything. But over the last 13 years, I've really started looking at behaviors, patterns, beliefs, and asking myself, even if it was true for me 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 3 years ago, does this resonate with the woman I am today? With your politics, with religion, even small things like, what do I do on Sundays? Or what are my family dynamics or traditions that we have? Are these things that this woman still likes, that I enjoy doing? Or did they match my old identity, and would I want to try something different? When I started doing that, the amount of freedom I felt changed everything. And for me, when I left my religion, over time, I started to realize, oh my gosh, I can connect with God everywhere. I thought mainly only in church. So it was a great decision for me to start questioning if that was something that was still who I was or not. And then we can always add in new things. So there could be a day I go to a different religion. It just didn't align with the woman I was at this point. So on this list of things that I want to release, we want to release anything that drags down our energy, because that's blocking our receiving, especially with manifestation. It's blocking our intuitive nudges. It's blocking our guides helping us. When our energy is off, we're blocking all levels of receiving. So anything that feels sad, disappointing, brings up any sort of anger, hurt, resentment, those type of feelings, can I let them go? And then looking at, who was I last year? Who was the woman that I was? Is there any new part of my identity that I would like to take on? Could I be braver this year? Could I be a little more sassy this year? Could I be a little bit more magnetic? For me this year, I'm trying to become more magnetic, and I'm trying to become a little more elegant. I grew up very much a tomboy, so I thought, why don't I try something new this year? What would it feel like to be more intentional about the woman I'm becoming and the way I want to represent myself? So what are old identity parts? Because we get to choose it. And there's nothing wrong with what we chose in the past, but since we're in this new year, why don't we try some stuff on? I have a mentor, I don't know if you guys know her or not, Melanie Ann Layer, but I had taken a class from her years ago, and she had talked about our identities. And so we're the ones who develop our identities. Now, granted, if you think back, in third grade where somebody said something horrible to you, you're too fat, or you're too loud, or made you feel unaccepted, or a teacher, or even in your 20s when you're dating and somebody made you feel rejected, we're the ones who decided to take that belief and carry it with us. And so we've decided, as of right now, in this beautiful conversation, we're the ones who've decided, I am this woman showing up right now. This Debbie that's on here, Katrina, Amy, I can't see all of you, but I'm representing myself that way. What are the key pieces of your identity that you might want to try releasing? Doesn't mean you have to let them go forever, but think of it like, I wear this sweater every single day, but what if I took this sweater off and I just tried a blue sweater for the day? So could I try being more extroverted? Could I try being friendlier? Could I try being one of those people who's always energetic? Could I try being a little more bold? What would I like to try on? And it doesn't mean it has to be permanent, but as we're releasing things, what else would I like to try on? One thing that I did want to add that was really beneficial in my series of releasing I started in December and I'm not completely done, but I was very intentional about my home. So I went into my closet, and this took forever, but looked at all of my clothes in my closet and do these things match the woman I am today? If not, I want to let them go. Does my jewelry match the woman I am today? Do my shoes, do my hats, do my swimsuits, do my clothes match the woman I am today? And it doesn't mean you have to go spend millions of dollars on new clothes, but we can start letting go of old things that are no longer the representation of the woman you are today and the woman you want to be this year. And then we can start adding in something new. And then I start doing that around my house. And energetically, as we're trying to receive and manifest, we want to open up the space. And if everything in your house and in your closet is the same, there is not that flow of energy. So we want to make sure, like I remember going around my house looking even at my artwork, like that's brand new. I bought that a month or so ago. And I looked at all my older artwork. I looked at, oh my gosh, so many electronics, bedding. Little by little, doesn't mean you need to go spend a lot of money, but start releasing the old, which allows new energy to flow in and allows more miracles, more manifestation, newer things that fit the woman you are today. So we're releasing energy, but we can also release actual physical things. Some people like to go and try out a new haircut. I mean, if you want to chop it off, chop it off. There's always extensions. If you want to try a new hair color, anything that allows you to be the fullest expression of the woman you are today. And no judgment about the woman in the past, just I want to represent the woman I am today. So we're releasing all of that. And then one other thing, in fact, this was just reinforced on this podcast last night, or I wouldn't have brought it up to you guys, but I feel like it's something we all go through as we are improving our lives. This past year, I looked at a lot of my old friendships, and there is nothing wrong with my friends, but I hold friends for years and years and decades, right? But I started to realize some of these friendships aren't the friendships that energize me. They're not people that are choosing to grow. They're not, when we have an exchange together, I don't leave uplifted. And a lot of us that are coaches, we end up coaching, we end up being the positive one, we end up bringing the energy, we're always giving the advice. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I like to look at it like, what if I have 10 slots for really great friends and I've just been keeping these slots full? And I'm always the one with the outflow. Can I just not invest as much time? It wasn't like I had to break up with every friend, but there was a period of really taking a step back and looking at, where am I investing all of my energy, and am I receiving? And receiving is going to be the last key of this. So I'm going to touch on this at the very end because this is really important. But is there friendships that I could maybe release? And in so doing, it will allow new, stronger friendships to come, new beneficial friendships for the woman you are today. energetic. Like the newest I have had, in fact, some of my closest friends I have now met through online. You give too much. We all do. But we have to take responsibility for that, right? People will always be willing to receive to the level that we are willing to give. And I don't know about you, but I was really insecure when I was young. So when I was younger, I was giving, not knowing that that was my way of trying to get people to like me. And then everyone just expected me to be the overgiver. And I developed that my entire life. I mean, I don't think I stopped overgiving until probably 48-ish. And it's horribly awkward when you start pulling back. But there's some really good things here with the overgiving. One, we're overgiving for a different reason. Everyone's different. Mine was insecurity, hoping that you would like me. Another thing is somewhat selfish. It makes you feel good. It does actually feel good to give. Don't feel upset. We don't want to judge ourselves at all. Today gets to be the day where you say, I have been the overgiver, but I'm choosing to not. And we want to give ourselves grace that in the learning of how to stop overgiving, that it's not going to come out perfect. We're going to make mistakes. And so it's totally okay. I have been an overgiver. And in those challenges where you're learning to pull back from overgiving and it gets awkward, I want you to remind yourself, I'm not perfect, but what I'm doing is I'm giving this person that I used to overgive to, I'm giving them the opportunity to discover what they're capable of. And this is a big thing with money. So I'm going to make a note so I don't forget to talk to you guys about that. Overgiving with money. We're going to talk about that in the receiving part. Ooh, and if anything else fun comes through, there was one other thing I wanted to address. So in this releasing, especially judgment of yourself, everything you've been up until today, totally okay. Totally okay, because you learned things from it. It was good. It was good to be the overgiver. We get to just choose today. I want to be different. And maybe we can't stop overgiving to everyone, but I can choose one and I can pull back and then I'm going to overgive and it's going to be okay and I'm going to notice it and I'm going to try better the next time. What I love, in fact, I'm going to jump into this right now in case I forget later. A very, very, very important lesson, and I want you to hear this. When we overgive now, we are going to carry that forward, right? We've got to break the pattern now because you are in the process of becoming the woman capable of holding the wealth that's waiting for you. So wealth is already there. Whatever level of wealth you're looking for, it's waiting for you to become that woman. One of the biggest leaks we have as women is overgiving money. And if you don't learn now at this level, so let's say you want to be making $250,000 a year, you're currently making $75,000 a year, but you're overgiving here and a little bit over there. And that person always comes to you for money. And your 27-year-old child still needs something. And we've got this one sibling and they always need help. This was a huge learning experience for me. But if you can learn to start saying no now, when you have less money, it's so important that you do that before you have wealth. Because once you have wealth, people will come, more people will come, and the patterns that you've already developed with the giving will be harder to say no, and people won't understand why you're saying no, because now you have it. You have a lot more than you did before, so why won't you give to me now? And it doesn't have to be an awkward thing. In fact, I just helped one of my clients last week. I just said to everyone that you're over giving to, start saying no and just say, as a family, we've decided we're saving for the kids' college. So anything excess is going to that. No one in your life has the right to make you feel bad about not giving to them when the money is going to your kids. And you can choose to use it for whatever you want. Or we as a family have decided all excess is going to savings. Or you can just practice saying, you know, I've been able to give in the past and that's not something I can do anymore. And I'm really sorry, but I have complete faith in you. You're going to figure it out. You're so capable. But practice saying the no's now. Practice the ways that you've been overgiving and just taking back where you can, because it doesn't mean you have to completely stop giving. And that's the beautiful thing. You know, in Katie's work, she talks about you are always going to be guided. You've got guides protecting you and leading you. You will always have the intuitive nudges of where to continue to say yes. And when you have more, because you've stopped leaking in the other places, you'll be able to give in a way that always feels good. So some you may not be able to stop overgiving right away, and others you'll be able to just kind of cut that off. It's going to be awkward, it's going to be painful, but trust they will find a way, and trust that other people will help them. So, and no judgment on yourself whatsoever for being the overgiver. And then I love that you just started to declutter. Good job. Still more to do. Take your time and enjoy the decluttering too. So I have a rule in my closet where I'm not allowed to buy new clothes. I mean, I'm not allowed to buy any new hangers. So if I'm going to go buy new clothes, then whatever I bring in, something has to go out. So I always donate. But it helps to get rid of and move stuff along. And especially with, like, you know, if you're not changing sizes a lot, it's hard to get rid of things. And I buy stuff and I'm like, oh, it'll be so cute when I know what to match it with. Somebody else will appreciate the things we donate. Somebody else will appreciate the things that we give away. So if you're not loving it anymore, if it doesn't match the woman we are today, we release it. But especially judgments of ourselves and judgments of others. Those two energetic things will block all of your receiving, and it will block your manifestation. It will block your wealth. We're going to go into that, into the receiving part. So for those of you that jumped on late, we're talking about receiving, reframing. Receiving's at the end. We're talking about releasing, reframing, and receiving. It's part of your divine reemergence. So, and we will have a copy of this if you missed the beginning. I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting any part of the releasing. So one of my favorite quotes that I'd ever heard, so keep this in mind, she remembered who she was and the game changed. And I think that's really important. It doesn't matter what's going on outside our lives, just remembering who you are. You are a powerful goddess badass. And yeah, we're in the process of learning things, but there is no one on this planet like you. Nobody. And that's the whole principle of my business. It is the one. You are the one. You are one in 8.3 billion people on this planet. And if you haven't heard this and had this drilled into you, you are one in 8.3 billion. When you die, there will never be another you, ever. So the gifts and the talents that you have and the desires on your heart, those two combined, and the things that you feel like you're supposed to do and your passions and your purpose, they're your responsibility, because no one else on this planet will ever be able to create them the way that you do. Some of us aren't meant to create it from scratch. Some of us are meant to innovate on what's already existing, but it's you. You are the one. There's only one of you. So the remembrance in that and the responsibility of that, but making it fun. And then as you really understand your value, then it's going to make everything a lot easier, but especially releasing some of these old beliefs about ourselves, things that we carried forward, our old identity. And then as for those who jumped on late as well, the one thing I like to do with the stuff that I'm still carrying is I just imagine I've been choosing to put these things in this heavy backpack. I'm choosing to carry it into today. So can I choose this one to forgive, this one to let go of my judgment, this one for being an overgiver, this one for all those insecurities that I had? Can I just take it out for a day? Because no one else is making us do this to ourselves. And as of today, we get to forgive all the bad and thank all the good. We just get to release. Okay, reframing. So now we've looked at some of the things that we have to release. Now, reframing is just shifting. Everything I talk about is 1 degree. So 1 degree, we want to make big changes in our life. If you think about, this is the simplest example. So everyone's been on a flight, right? Is there anyone who's never taken a flight? Okay, good. So when you go, I fly like every single week of my life. So this is the best one. Oh, and don't worry about being late, Simona. There's a recording for you. So when you go and you get on your flight, let's say you're starting in Phoenix, which I am, and I just flew to, let's go to New York. You get on that plane, and that plane has a flight path that's going to go straight from here to New York. If that plane goes 1 degree off in Phoenix or anywhere along its path, I'm going to end up across the world. But it seems so small, right? 1 degree, that's it. But my destination point will completely change. I want you to look at it like that when you're trying to make changes in your life. So, losing weight, growing a business, starting a relationship, anything in life, it can just be 1 degree. We make it so big, like I want to lose 35 pounds. Okay, what if I just go to the gym? I've made 1 degree difference. What if I just post this one thing? That 1 degree, the 1 degree, the 1 degree, it's all taking us right where we want to go. So we want to start shifting into, I can reframe things 1 degree. And most of this has to do with our language. So when I had mentioned earlier, in case any of you missed it, anything in the past, and especially when we're online, in our businesses, with our family, when people say things that hurt us, I think this is one of the biggest insights I ever had. When someone says something that hurts us, when someone disappoints us, when someone betrays us, if you've ever been cheated on, this was a big thing for me. Anything where someone has done something that is challenging to forgive, 90 to 99% of the time, these people are not intentionally hurting us. They are trying to get their needs met. So we are the main character in our own movie. I'm the main character. You guys are supporting characters right now.
I'm
Debbie's
on mute.
Debbie's the main character in hers, Katrina's the main character, Amy, and I am a
Uh,
supporting character in yours right now as well.
Then there's a replay, so I can just switch over.
Oops. Let's see if I can mute you. If you guys wouldn't mind just mute. Oh, there we go. I got it. So when someone hurts you, let's say you did get cheated on, or your husband does something stupid, or your best friend really hurt your feelings, that person is the main character in their movie. They've got their own role that they're playing out. You're the supporting character. So they're assigning a role to you that you may not even know about, how you're supposed to behave, what you're supposed to do, but they are the main character and they have needs to get met. Same thing with us. I'm a main character. My boyfriend is a supporting character. My mom is a supporting character. My best friend. And I have roles that I have assigned to them that they may not completely understand and they may not agree to. But at the same time, all day long, every day, I am a main character and they are a main character. So when something happens and someone hurts us, unless they're intentionally trying to hurt you, most of the time they're just living their movie and they're choosing something that will help them to get their needs met. We just get disappointed that they didn't choose the thing we wanted them to choose, or they didn't do it the way that we wanted them to do it. And sometimes we did have an agreement. Sometimes there was I'm not saying cheating's right. I'm not saying hurting each other is right. I'm not saying disappointing each other is right. What I'm saying is pull yourself above the experience and look down on it to see if there's any way I could reframe that this wasn't intentional. And then I can still choose, how do I want this relationship to go from here? Is this something that is unforgivable? Is it fixable? Is there something that we can have a discussion about? But reframing that people are not intentionally trying to hurt us, just like we're not intentionally trying to hurt someone, that allows us to be a lot more forgiving. It allows us to shift into, people are just normally thinking about themselves and trying to get their needs met. And I'm not saying if you've been through really hard things in life that you haven't been a victim, especially as a child. As a child, that stuff is just, you were a victim. But as an adult, we have to look at the things that we're carrying forward and wonder if there is a way that we can release it or if we can reframe it. So with my clients, I'll have them sit down. When you've got some time one day, I want you to sit down and make a list of any of the really challenging things in your life, things that hurt you, challenging situations, disappointing situations. Were you ever cheated on? Did somebody end a relationship with you? Were you betrayed by a business partner? Did a best friend hurt you? Was there any sort of circumstance that has caused you pain? And instead of, a lot of people talk about looking for the lesson, I would love for you to look at it and ask yourself, is there a specific character trait I developed from this circumstance? So normally we became compassionate because we know what it felt like to get hurt. So because of this, I then became more compassionate. I understand what that feels like. Did you become resilient? Did you become brave? Did you become compassionate and understanding? Did you discover your ability to bounce back? All of these character traits, instead of the lesson, character traits we're still carrying with us today. So they're the things that make us brave. They're the things that make us get up again, try again, be stronger, be the leader. They're all the things that lead us forward into the women that we've become today, which the woman we are today is the woman that's going to create, welcome, and manifest everything that we're trying to have. The women that we've been up to this point helped us become, unveil, and develop all of the skills and talents that will carry us forward. So can we release the judgments of ourselves up to this point? And can we reframe anything that felt like a judgment, anything that felt harsh, anything that felt unfair? And can we see where it developed as into a positive, it gave us a positive character trait that we can carry forward. Two really important statements. If you are taking notes, write these down. They're two of my favorite things to say. So when we're looking at our goals in life, whether it's business, relationships, wanting more money, wanting to get to a certain income by the end of the year, wanting to lose a certain amount of weight, any of that stuff, when we're looking at that outcome, in the process of getting there, we're always not there yet. So there's a little bit of that lack feeling. Like if I'd like to make $150,000 this year, I'm not there yet. Or if you have a certain dollar amount you want to make by the end of this month and you don't hit it, there's disappointment, right? And going into disappointment and lack blocks our manifestation and our receiving. So one of the things I love to say is I'm in the process of, and then ending my sentence, I'm in the process of making $150,000 this year. I'm in the process of having $50,000 in savings. I'm in the process of finding my new super hot boyfriend. I'm in the process of losing 25 pounds. I'm in the process of having a better relationship with my kids. I'm in the process of deciding what I really want to do with my life at this point. I'm in the process of becoming the best version of myself. I'm in the process of enjoying what I already have. In the process of allows our brain to disconnect from judgment and lack that we're not there yet or we haven't received it yet. Because in the universal timing, there is no human time. So it literally could land tomorrow, but we can't stay open to possibility if we're feeling that lack. So I'll say in the process of, and then my other favorite thing is yet. I haven't made $150,000 yet. I haven't released my podcast yet. I haven't found my dream partner yet. I haven't quite repaired that relationship yet. I haven't reached my goal yet. If you can just give yourself the grace of that little comma, I'm in the process of, comma, whatever it is, or I'm trying to accomplish this, instead of the negativity that we're not there yet, just that little tiny comma, yet. That will help to release the time frame, which allows the miracles to work, which allows our manifestations to get stronger, which allows us to actually enjoy the process. Because once we hit those goals, we're not going to remember all of the negativity on the way. And we're not going to remember the joy along the way too. So we want to make sure that we are reframing. Yes, I want to hit this certain milestone, or I want to have this relationship, but in that process of getting there, what are the miracles that are happening right now? What are the fun things that are happening right now? What are the things that I'm learning right now? What's adding to what I'm becoming and what I'm doing with my life? And so if you can add those in your thoughts, you've got to catch them first in your thoughts. And your brain loves to give you, sorry for swearing, but that bullshit meter. So like if you were to say, I'm going to make $1 million this year, and you've only ever made $70,000, your brain is not going to support that manifestation. The first thing it's going to say is bullshit, there is no way. But if you were to say, I'm in the process of building a company that is going to make $1 million, it can't say bullshit because there is no time frame on that. So it gets a little more curious. Well, that could be possible. I mean, you've already made 70,000. So, okay. And if you haven't ever thought about this, if you are in that dream of becoming a millionaire, if you've worked 20 years of your life for $50,000 a year, you've already made $1 million in your lifetime. You've already received it. But then our brain goes, comma, but it's not in the bank, but I'm not a millionaire, but I don't have anything to show for it. We have to own the fact I am a woman who's already made $1 million in my lifetime. If you can own that, you're going to receive $1 million a lot faster. Same thing if you've worked 50 years at $20,000 a year. So if you go back at your annual incomes for the last however many years and start adding that up, you've received a lot more money than you've recognized because we don't have it sitting in the bank. That too will help to solidify your foundation of what you're standing on as you're going into the receiving. We're going to go into the receiving. Let me just double check I didn't leave anything out on your reframing. So in your thought process, because our thoughts are the most damaging, then our words are even more, the things that we say to ourselves. So we want to catch, what are the thoughts I have about myself and can I reframe this? And then the language I am speaking about myself, about my progress, about my relationships, about my success, any of that. Can I release these things I say about myself? Can I reframe them into a positive possibility statement? Can I let go of judgment of myself? Can I pull myself above this circumstance, whatever it is I'm going through, and can I reframe it a little bit so that I am releasing the judgment, releasing any sort of heavy energy, and reframing it into possibility and positivity? There is one question when you've got the time, I want you to think about, if everything I've lived up to this point was not a mistake and was not negative, what character traits did I develop in each circumstance? And what belief about myself would naturally dissolve if I fully trusted my timing and the universe's timing, God's timing, all of that? What belief about myself would naturally dissolve if I fully trusted my timing? Okay, and now we're going to go into my favorite part, the receiving. If you do not feel safe receiving, you will block your wealth. You will unconsciously block everything you're asking for. And what I didn't understand about receiving when I first was working on this was money is a receiving energy. So you think about any dollar that you've ever received, whether it's through a job, through a client, a gift card, a tax return, you actually have to physically receive that. Whether it was deposited into your bank account or someone handed you cash or a check, you physically receive the money. So we receive all of our wealth. If you are blocking compliments, you are blocking receiving. If you are blocking your kids helping you carry the groceries in, if you're blocking someone opening the door for you as you're trying to go in a building, if you're blocking your friend paying for lunch when you're at lunch, all of those are receiving energies. So if we're blocking receiving in any form, we're actually blocking wealth, because you can't be selective about where we receive. We're just blocking the receiving energy. So, like there's the giving energy, there's the receiving energy. That was a huge thing for me. If you take a moment and start thinking about, where have I been not receiving? So, especially for those of us that are very independent women, you're building your own business. I remember having a fabulous conversation with my dad years ago because I loved to give. I was horrible at receiving. I was very independent, single, never been married, don't have kids. I do it all myself, right? Which is great. And we need that when we don't have someone to do it for us. But it was really hard for me to receive. I always paid for lunches and dinners. I was the one who loved to give. I felt good about it. I remember my dad saying to me one time, Lisa, when you don't allow people to give to you, to do things for you, you're blocking them having that good feeling of giving. Not only that, but if you're religious and believe in God, you're blocking those blessings that they would be receiving for giving. And you're doing that because you're insecure about receiving. And when I could actually finally see that allowing someone to give to me or allowing someone to do something nice for me was actually a blessing for them and for me, and that it not only allowed me to learn how to receive, it actually made them feel good inside. It allowed me to start doing that more. And then when I really understood, oh my goodness, wait, wow. So if I'm blocking receiving, I'm actually blocking receiving more money because my energy of receiving is blocked. Does that make sense to you guys? It was so mind-blowing for me. So I want you to start thinking about examples of where you might have been blocking receiving, and could I practice doing that different? And when I was writing this a couple weeks ago, I started thinking, okay, well, what if I don't, have a friend to take me to lunch this week? What if, there is no one opening my door this week? Where else can I practice getting really comfortable with receiving? And I want you to look at the things that we're actually already really good at receiving. We just don't think about it. So I don't have my phone in here, but when someone calls you, you're receiving a phone call. So we're really good at that. Yes, having to be independent, right? Independent women, there's nothing wrong with that, but we got to work on the receiving. So when your phone rings and you take a phone call, you're receiving a phone call. We're very good at that, but recognize I'm receiving this. Our emails, we get hundreds, if not thousands of emails a week. We're actually receiving, but we see that as a burden sometimes, right? It's annoying, all the spam. But when you get a good email, I want you to recognize, oh my gosh, I'm receiving an email. So I'm working on my receiving. I'm doing better about this. When it comes to your clients, especially, are all of you guys building a business? Is there anyone on here not building a business? If there is, let me know. What's really important about building your businesses with the receiving is every client is one client. Every payment is one payment. We need to celebrate receiving every client and every payment. So let's say you only have one, you're launching something and okay, Debbie, I'll make sure we cover this too. It's applicable, but it's really applicable in business. And so if you do a launch and you only have one client sign up, we go into disappointment because we wanted 10 or 20, it's still one. If you're doing a new program and you wanted to sell 5 and only one sells, we go into disappointment, right? But it isn't. We have to celebrate the one. Money doesn't go where it's needed. Money goes where it is celebrated and expected. If money went where it was needed, we wouldn't have all the financial problems in the world. We wouldn't have starving people. We wouldn't have homelessness, because money would be going where it's needed, right? But unfortunately, need is in the lower energy levels that are attached to lack. So when we're in need, we're actually blocking the receiving of what we need. So if you're celebrating every payment that comes in, if you're celebrating every client that shows up, if you're celebrating new emails, if you're celebrating a prospective client and interest in that, when you're working a regular job, this is one of my favorite things. So when your paycheck comes in, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, if you get a physical check, I want you to do the same thing. If you get a deposit, an automatic deposit, I want you, the day the money shows up, I want you to screenshot it. I want you to put a big old star on it. I want you to celebrate it, get so excited about it. Like, this is massive. I love this. I love every dollar. Most of us, when the money shows up, we are already thinking about where it has to go, where it's going to be spent, the bills that have to be paid, especially if money is tight, right? So the feeling of receiving the money is not celebrated. It's still in a feeling of lack. It's not enough. And then we got to turn around and pay the bills. So I like to jokingly say, my money is my super hot boyfriend. He shows up on Friday. I take a screenshot. I get so excited. It doesn't matter how much money it is. I screenshot that, put a little star on it. We have a really nice dinner together that night. I do not pay my bills the same day I receive the money. And then the next day, my super hot boyfriend goes off to pay all my bills. If you're married, it doesn't have to be the same thing, but it makes it fun for me. So anytime money comes in, you celebrate it. And you hold on to it for as long as you can, so you actually are enjoying the feeling of having that money. And then you go pay your bills. And when you pay your bills, we sit in full gratitude. So when you're paying your mortgage, I am so grateful that I have this roof over my head. When you're paying your rent, when you're paying your car payment, when you're paying your cell phone bill, I am so grateful I get to talk to everyone I love on this phone. I'm so grateful I can run a business from this phone. I'm so grateful that I have this phone that actually has maps so I don't get lost all the time. I am so grateful for the food that I have. I am so grateful for the fact that my home is warm in the winter time. Every time we're paying our bills and every time the money goes out, if you're spending it on something fun, or if you're donating it, or if you're giving it away, I love to say, especially if it's like a $20 bill, I'll tell the $20 bill, $100 bill, whatever it is, okay, I want you to go and have some fun, and then I want you to come back to me quickly with all of your cousins. So send it out into the world and then bring it on back and bring all your cousins with you. So we want to make our interactions with money very, very fun. The more you can make money fun, the faster you'll receive money. The more you can make miracles fun, the faster you'll receive miracles. So I like to keep a little notebook. Oh, I should have brought it in here. I have a journal that's like my regular journal, and then I have a journal that is money and miracles. And the littlest miracles, if you can catch the littlest miracles and start writing these things down, and the fun money that shows up, and I have another example for you. This is not my example, but do you guys know Lewis Howes from School of Greatness? He has a phenomenal podcast, and he released a book earlier in 2025. I think it's called Make Money Easy. And he was talking about his book tour, and he was deciding to really pay attention to his money again. And so he's on his book tour, and he finds a penny. He picks it up, takes it with him, goes to his appointment that day, sets it on the nightstand at the hotel. Next day, he's coming out of the subway, sees another penny on the ground, was gonna pick it up, but it's dirty, and he's like, decides to pick it up anyway, puts it in his pocket, goes about his thing, puts it on the nightstand. The next morning, he's getting up, he looks at those two pennies, and one is dirty, so he goes to go wash it off, and it turns out that was a leaf penny, which I'd never even heard of. That penny was worth $4,000. One little penny, dirty, from the gutter-ish area, coming out of the subway, was worth $4,000. And so that's the other fascinating thing about money when you're studying energetics, manifestation. The energy of money is the same, whether it's a quarter or $10,000. That frequency is the same. It's how we place our feelings and our beliefs on the money. So we don't get excited about the quarter. We're waiting for the $10,000. If we start treating our quarters like they are $10,000. And we get so excited about every quarter. And like the $5 you find in the back pocket of your jeans that went through the dryer and it's all crunchy and crispy, if you treat that like $50,000, you're going to start manifesting more money. And we're receiving and receiving and receiving. We get more excited about it. So every miracle that you can receive, every bit of money that you can receive, every compliment that you can receive, all of that increases your wealth and your manifestation. And we want to give. I mean, I'm not just saying it's all about receiving, receiving, receiving. I love giving. I love complimenting. And that's the same thing with money. When we were talking earlier about cutting back on the over giving and leaking money, we still want to give. Money needs to be a flow. We just want to intuitively give. I love to donate. So pick your favorite charities, donate to where you want to donate. And you can always ask, whether it's God, the universe, whatever you believe in, where should I be giving my money? Who might need something from me this week? Who might need something from me this month? In my business, I have a foundation called the One Foundation. And so we're donating this year, we're going to start donating quarterly to a charity run by one woman. And I was like, this is going to be so fun. I get to constantly search and then we're going to vote on which one we want to give it to. I love charities and I will get a nudge. Somebody needs some help with this. So we want to give and receive to just keep that flow going. Let me see if there's anything that I might be forgetting because I know we're getting to the end here. I would say in all of this, in the divine reemergence, in practicing, okay, I'm going to release things, I'm going to reframe things, and I'm going to work on my receiving. One of my really important goals for this year was to just slow down. If you can just slow down a little bit, especially in the morning, especially like before I got on here, I just took a few minutes and sat with, I got this whole thing outlined, but if there's something more important, if there's something that's supposed to come through, just let it come through. Can I be more present with all the things I'm supposed to do today? Can I be more aware of where I'm being led and being guided? Can I be more in tune with the messages that are coming to me? How can I be more of service? Can I just slow down for a minute? Even if you're driving and you get to a parking spot, take 1 second before you get out of that car and just take a breath. Okay, I'm here. Like, let me be aware of the miracles around me. Let me be aware of the ways to serve. Let me be aware of representing myself as the woman I am today. Let me be aware of opportunities to be brave. Let me be aware of people that might be needing to intersect with me, that I'm supposed to be of service to. And one last thing that has helped me over the last year too. In this practice of receiving, I started to really get aware of, this body, it carries me around. I was really, really harsh on myself for a long time, being insecure, a lot of body judgments, a lot of criticism. And about a year and a half ago, I started looking at, am I taking care of this thing to the best of its ability, or am I just like expecting it to function on donuts and not enough sleep? And I started thinking, okay, I'm going to ask my body more what it wants to receive, because different foods feed different organs, different foods feed and help different parts of your body. Could I be more in communication with what it would like to receive? It would clearly like to receive more sleep. It would probably like to receive more massages, more time in the sauna, definitely less stress. So can I be aware of, it's not only me and my mind that's receiving, but what does my body need to receive from me? And can I intentionally make those choices so that I can perform better, that I can be more in tune, that I can feel better, and that I can function better in all aspects of my life? So the two things I would invite for this section to just think about over the next week or so is, where are the ways that I have been blocking receiving? And can I shift a few of those? And then over the next month or so, ask yourself, what would change if I allowed myself to receive support? If I allowed myself to receive pleasure? If I allowed myself to receive more opportunities? And then if I could receive all of those without trying to earn it, if I just received the miracles of it, what would happen? And I think if you can practice those things, you don't have to do it all. Take it 1 degree at a time, one little step, one little change. I'm going to think a thought differently. I'm going to speak to myself differently. I'm going to practice receiving. I'm going to release that. I'm going to reframe this thing that I keep thinking. Doing those will help to just shift you into a more powerful manifester, a more powerful leader, a better woman. You'll have more fun in life. You'll be so much more present in all of your relationships, and you'll be more in tune with your purpose, the things that light you up. I mean, we only get this one life as far as I know. I know there's more after it, but we're here right now. So what do I want to do right now to make it really phenomenal? And then if you can, set a goal to just over the next month or so, to each week let go of one thing, just a commitment, a habit, or thought. And then when those damaging, painful thoughts come, can I just reframe? And then if you do this, keep it a little, throw it in your journal, like give yourself credit. I did this right. I did that right. I changed this. I welcome that, especially your magic and your miracles and your money. If we start really celebrating those, they happen a lot more. I want to thank you guys. I just noticed it was time. Thank you so much for being here. Let me double check and see if there was any questions I didn't answer. Do you guys have any questions before we go? Is there anything I can help you with? Totally okay that you guys are not in business. Oh, I love this. You don't have to be in business. So just use it in any aspect of life. If you have a job, if you are a mother, I mean, especially if you're a mother, if you can use it in your friendships, you can use it in anything that you serve in, anything that you want to create. Like, we just want to make this life so fabulous. So I know that Katie is going to be probably, I'll send her these notes if she wants to send them out. If you guys want to ever connect, I am on Facebook, Instagram, any of those, Lisa Toland. And then I have a little business. My website is out there. I hardly ever use it. Just look for, it's _ Lisa Toland _ at Instagram, or Lisa Toland on Facebook. I do have some really fun stuff coming out at the end of the month and beginning of February that have to do with men. I'm starting a little membership. I think I'm calling it the 1 Degree. There's going to be a Beauty of a Woman thing coming as well. So we've got some fun stuff. And if you're interested in being on podcasts, you can reach out to me as well. I think we're going to go down to just 2 a month now, but thank you for your time. It has been a pleasure to be here. I hope you guys have a beautiful week ahead, and reach out if you need anything. Have the most wonderful day. Thanks, you guys. Take care.